Good afternoon, esteemed policymakers and decision makers. My name is Stella Leslie, and I am here to advocate for to share my personal journey with School Can't and advocate for better support systems for students facing similar challenges. Today, I aim to raise awareness about School Can't, reduce the stigma associated with it, and convince you to promote more accessible alternative pathways for students who struggle with attending traditional school settings. Despite having teacher parents familiar with mental health, I struggled with attending school due to School Can't. School Can't is a stress-related inability to attend. From as early as daycare and kindergarten, I faced separation anxiety despite early literacy, good grades, and strong friendships. Educators dismissed this as separation anxiety I would grow out of. I was alone. Imagine needing to go somewhere, but being unable to. You try walking, your legs feel like they've walked for days. Then they refuse to move altogether, except backwards, towards safety, towards home. So you get a ride instead. As you near your destination, your chest tightens and your breath shortens and pain sets in. The car stops. You're paralysed. People pass by effortlessly, glancing at you like an exhibit in a zoo. You've been crying, yet you still can't breathe. You feel hot and cold, watched yet alone. You know you should get out, but you can't. Guilt creeps in for delaying the driver, for keeping people waiting, for not doing what you're supposed to. The only words you manage to whisper: I can't. I can't walk, I can't move, I can't breathe, I can't meet people, I can't do my work, I can't. That's just a very small snapshot at what experiencing School Can't can feel like. And the worst part? No one understands. When I was still trying to attend school, School Can't was stigmatised by educators and felt isolating. Without understanding or support, I believed something was wrong with me. Friends distanced themselves and I fell into depression. My teachers had no idea how to deal with School Can't. They told me that I was just being a naughty kid. They told me that there was something inherently wrong with me. Only when I had decided I couldn't face school anymore did my guidance officer raise the idea of a part-time enrolment plan. Even my parents, despite their mental health backgrounds, didn't fully understand. The only one I could somewhat relate to was my little sister, who also experienced School Can't, though we rarely spoke about it. It was too painful. Both of us were alone. Leaving mainstream school, I found distance education equally difficult, except this time the fear was in my own home. The expectations from the school and myself weighed very heavily on me, and I struggled even more to get the work done. However, a Head Start University course was life-changing for me. With my mum's support, I transitioned fully to university, thriving in an environment that worked for me. Now, I'm on track to finish a bachelor's degree a year after I was supposed to graduate high school. This isn't my lived experience. This is my living experience. In 2024, only 61% of Queensland students had attendance above 90%, which is down from 76% in 2015. This issue has been evident since the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority began collecting data, with research on school attendance-related emotional distress dating back to 1939. From 2020 to 2024, Queensland home education registrations grew by 122% in primary levels and 222% in secondary levels. We need to be asking why these numbers are growing at such astonishing rates. A 2022 Federal Senate inquiry into School Can't used the problematic term school refusal, which implies choice and overlooks environmental factors causing emotional distress. A submission from School Can't Australia, an advocacy group, revealed that many students experience severe anxiety, physical symptoms, and feelings of isolation, often exacerbated by fear of failure, bullying, and social pressures. They are so alone. Recent research by Connolly and colleagues found that 92% of students facing School Can't were described as neurodivergent, with 83% as autistic. Sensory processing difficulties and ADHD were common, while those without a neurodivergent profile made up only 6.17%. What the research is showing us is that children and young people face such emotional distress that it prevents them from attending school because they don't feel safe. They don't feel academically safe. They don't feel socially safe. They don't feel physically safe, and they don't feel emotionally safe. I want policymakers to know that there is an increasing number of students who are struggling with attending school, and that schools often lack resources to support these neurodivergent students. We know what the problem is. We know who is experiencing it. We know that they need help. Why aren't we doing anything? Parents need to know alternative pathways exist. Distance education, University Head Start programs, and Open Universities Australia offer flexible options beyond the traditional paths of QCE and ATAR. These should be introduced to high school students early. However, we also need to deal with the issue before it gets to the point of any student of any age screaming "I can't" when faced with another day of school. Teachers and guidance officers need school can't training before graduating, and those already in the education system should undergo mandatory training so they can best help their students develop a sense of social, emotional, and physical safety at school. Do you know what would have helped me develop that sense of safety and wouldn't have cost the education system a cent? If I had more designated playtime in prep, building my social skills instead of being taught how to read and write at the age of 4. It would have helped me if my teachers didn't tell me to put away my toy when it was actually helping me regulate my emotions. The stigma around self-regulation tools needs to change. It would have helped me if my teachers didn't hold me back after class for not finishing my work. This meant I either had a bad transition to my next class or I missed out on regulation time during breaks. It also meant I wouldn't have the opportunities other students had to develop social skills. It would have helped me if I could have expressed my identity through my colourful hair and crazy socks. The rules restricting self-expression should be looked at and rewritten. If my hair and socks are distracting the entire class, we should be questioning the quality of the teaching instead of the colour of my hair. These constructs and arbitrary rules are enforcing a neuronormative way of being and doing. They only exist to support neurotypical expectations and actually stop the neurodivergent students from building a sense of belonging or safety. In reality, these neurodivergent students are the majority of both students facing school can't and the general population. I urge you, as policymakers and decision makers, to consider the needs of students facing school can't and to support initiatives that provide alternative pathways and resources for their success. We are alone. So very alone. Don't leave us in the dark anymore.